When Victoria pried open the hidden trapdoor in the wine cellar, the stench of decay hit her like a punch. What she saw inside made her knees buckle. A silk robe, a body, and her childhood necklace clutched in bone-white fingers.
The weight of stone, Victoria pressed her forehead against the car window, watching as the estate emerged like a specter. Massive stone walls and twisted oaks. 10 years of distance collapsed in seconds. 3 days, she whispered to herself. Just 3 days. The gravel driveway crunched beneath the tires. Before she could reach for her bag, the door swung open. "Vicky!" Sophie's voice rang out. "You're finally home." Home. The word felt like acid on Victoria's tongue. Sophie bounded down the steps, golden hair catching sunlight, looking more like their mother than ever. Victoria's chest tightened as they embraced. "Let me look at you," Sophie said, still beautiful even with those dark circles. "If only you knew that sleep is the enemy," Victoria thought. "Where's Dad?" Victoria asked. "In his study. Some things never change." Sophie linked their arms. "But first, there's someone dying to see you." Victoria's eyes met Liam's. Her Liam, except he wasn't hers anymore. "Victoria," he said, lips curving into that crooked smile. "Welcome home." Something flickered across his face, too quick to name. Fear? Guilt? Before she could decipher it, he enveloped Sophie from behind. "Isn't this perfect?" Sophie sighed. "The 3 people I love most, together at last." Victoria forced a smile. "Perfect." The house smelled the same. Old books, polished wood, and something underneath. Something damp and wrong. Family photos lined the staircase wall, a perfect timeline of their lives, except for the gap, the years after her mother had left, the years when Robert claimed Eleanor had run off. No note, no warning. Victoria paused at her childhood bedroom door. Inside, nothing had changed. A time capsule of the person she'd been before. Victoria. She turned to find her father. Robert Caldwell had aged, but his eyes remained cold, calculating. "You look unwell," he observed. "Are you taking your medication?" The familiar question, the subtle undermining that had been his weapon of choice. "Yes," she lied. He nodded, unconvinced. "Sophie is thrilled you're here. Please don't upset her with any episodes." As he turned to leave, Victoria called after him. "Dad, is the wine cellar still off limits?" He froze, just for a heartbeat. "Of course not, though I doubt you'd find anything of interest down there now." Victoria remained still, the hair on her neck standing on end. She'd struck a nerve. The wine cellar, where they'd never been allowed to play, where the door was always locked. Dinner was a performance. Sophie chattering about wedding details. Liam charm personified. Robert playing the proud father. "Remember how Victoria and I used to fight over you?" Sophie giggled, threading her fingers through Liam's. Liam's eyes met Victoria's. Life has a way of sorting things out. Victoria was always too ambitious for simple happiness, Robert interjected. Too much like her mother, always seeing conspiracies where there were none. The room went silent. "Conspiracies?" Victoria repeated. "Like when I said Mom would never leave without saying goodbye?" Robert's knuckles whitened. "That's enough." A crash from the kitchen scattered the tension. As Sophie rushed to help, Victoria noticed their dog pawing frantically at the library floor. "He does that all the time," Liam said. "Your father hates it." Victoria knelt beside the animal. "What is it, boy? What do you smell?" Later, as wedding guests arrived, Victoria found herself cornered by her father's colleague, Dr. Hammond. 6 glasses of scotch in, his words slurred. "Your father's plan worked out perfectly, huh? Kept you busy with that boy just long enough." He caught himself. Victoria felt ice spread through her veins. "What plan?" The man's eyes widened. Nothing. I misspoke. He hurried away. The memories came flooding back. Her father introducing her to Liam, his promising graduate student. How he'd encouraged their relationship. How her questions about her mother had faded. Just long enough. Just long enough for what? Sophie entered Victoria's room the next morning. "You look terrible. Bad dreams." "Sophie," Victoria began carefully, "did you ever wonder if Mom might not have left voluntarily?" Sophie's smile faltered. "Not this again. Dad says you're obsessed with creating tragedies. What if it isn't tragedy? What if—" "Stop. Dad warned me you might do this." "Dad warned you?" "He said the stress might trigger another episode, that you might try to hurt yourself again. Or us." Victoria stared at her sister. "I never tried to hurt anyone. The doctors said—" "The doctors Dad selected." The confrontation with Robert came later that day. "I know," Victoria said, closing the study door behind her. "About Mom, that she was here, that she heard us, above her." Robert didn't look up. "Know what, precisely?" "That she didn't leave us. You did something to her?" When he finally raised his eyes, they contained nothing but pity. "Victoria, your mind has always been fragile. This isn't fantasy," she hissed, producing the journal. Something shifted in his expression, microscopic but unmistakable, fear. "Where did you get that?" "Does it matter? It's her handwriting, her words." Robert stood slowly. "And who would believe you? The troubled daughter, the one with documented psychiatric problems?" Victoria held her ground. "Sophie will believe me." "Sophie?" He laughed softly. "Sophie trusts me implicitly, and she's already concerned about your behavior, as is Liam." "What does Liam have to do with this?" Robert's smile was terrible in its gentleness. "Everything, my dear, absolutely everything." While wedding festivities continued in the garden, Victoria slipped away with a flashlight and her phone recording. The wine cellar door was locked, but Victoria had come prepared. The steps creaked as she descended into darkness. Nothing seemed out of place. Nothing except— Victoria ran her hand along the far wall. Her flashlight caught scratch marks on the floor, leading to a particular stone section. She began moving wine racks, revealing an area that looked different, newer. She dropped to her knees, fingers clawing at the edges. A trap door. With trembling hands, she pulled it open. The stench hit her first. Decay and time. Victoria gagged as she shone the light into the darkness below. A small room, a makeshift bed, chains bolted to the wall, and a body wrapped in the remnants of a once beautiful silk robe. Her mother's favorite, a necklace clutched in skeletal fingers, Victoria's birthstone pendant. Victoria didn't scream. She filmed everything, then uploaded the footage to cloud storage and sent it to journalists, police, and finally, Sophie. "You're lying." Sophie's face drained of color as she stared at the phone screen. "Daddy said she ran." "See for yourself," Victoria said, leading her to the cellar. When they reached the hidden room, Sophie collapsed, retching violently. How long?" she choked out. 17 years, Victoria answered. "While we grew up, while we stopped looking." Sophie's eyes widened suddenly. "Liam, what about Liam?" "He knows, he and Dad. They're always in the cellar. I thought they were planning a surprise for the wedding." As they turned to leave, a shadow blocked their path. "I wouldn't do that," Liam said, Robert beside him. "She was getting too close," Robert said quietly. "Just like her mother." "So you buried her alive?" Victoria's voice shook. "Not immediately," Robert replied. "Eleanor lasted quite a while, long enough to hear you cry for her, long enough to know you eventually stopped." Sophie lunged at her father, but Liam caught her easily. "How could you?" she sobbed. "The same way he did it to the others," Victoria said. "The same way he's been grooming you, Sophie. Through Liam." "Show her," Victoria demanded. "Show her the videos, the ones of you and Mom." Liam's expression hardened. "You always were too clever." "Enough," Robert stepped forward. "Sophie will understand eventually, just like you would have, Victoria, if you hadn't been so stubborn." "She's gone too far this time," Liam said, his hand moving to his pocket. "We agreed." Whatever they had agreed to remained unspoken as sirens wailed in the distance. "What did you do?" Robert hissed. Victoria's smile was cold. "I sent everything to everyone. It's over, Dad." The estate became a crime scene. Robert was arrested, evidence mounting as investigators discovered not just Eleanor's remains, but records of other women who had disappeared over decades. Sophie was institutionalized after attempting to take her own life. Liam vanished the night of the arrests. Victoria walked through the empty house one final time. In her mother's journal, she'd found one last entry, scrawled in fading pencil. "My Victoria knows. She's always known, and someday she'll make him pay." Standing in the foyer, Victoria clasped her mother's necklace around her throat. "This house had secrets," she whispered to the silent walls. "But so do I." She closed the door behind her, leaving unsaid the final truth about the night 10 years ago, about what had really happened to make her flee, about whose blood had stained the library carpet before it was hastily replaced. Some secrets would remain buried, just like some bodies never would again.
If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications.